Hello, my Fiber friends, and welcome to Unseen Strands, where I, your Fiber host Mo, am visually impaired and share with you my Fiber arch journey. And today we are in a not short mode, so this will probably be audio only because I have a lot to update you on and not a lot of time to do that. So putting in the little clips and things is not my priority, and my meta glasses, unlike the update told me, do not do the 5-minute option yet. So we don't have a 5-minute option, so I'm going to try and do this in about 20 minutes or less. But guys, there has been so much going on in the last month or so, and I skimmed the surface through the videos that you have had, and I need to get you up to date. So the story of last month, this is almost a month ago, not quite yet, but there was a storm that went through my area back on July 21st. It was a Monday night. The power went out, and we didn't think much of it because, stuff like that has happened before. Our particular power lines for our neighborhood are all underground, but of course they connect to above ground power lines that are more towards the center of town and other things. So it's not unusual for us to have a power out that's not related to our actual neighborhood, but somewhere closer to the actual grid system centralization. And we didn't get power back till I think 3:30 in the morning that night, or that next day, and we had torrential downpours and no sub pump to pump that water out of our basement. So, not knowing how to do some of these things and how to force something to work that won't work because you have no power, the edge of our entire basement, which we have a ranch style house, so it pretty much runs the entire length of the house. Just the edges, for the most part, flooded, and it was entertaining, to say the least. And this was 2 days before we had 1 day to do cleanup before we left to go to my blind convention in St. Louis. We managed to make that. So we got all that done. As far as I know, I don't think I lost much, if any, yarn. I know there was some other crafty supplies, like there was a box that had fallen over, and so some of that ribbon might have to be tossed out. Luckily, it was fairly clean water that was getting through the house, so some of it might be able to save. I'm not sure on a box of mandala, because where that had been stored had no problem because it was in a cardboard box up high, but my husband rearranged things without letting me involved, and I kind of forgot about it. And that particular box is one that I'm not sure. I haven't refound it to figure out if that has molded and needs tossed, but otherwise I think most of the yarn items were saved, and it's basically all now upstairs. Which you have seen in some of the little shorts that I have done, is that we're in a major reorganization project. We've gotten some new shelves and things to kind of help us with the process. This is, of course, coming out of pocket because insurance doesn't like to cover you for flooding damage. And even though I've been told that because it's an electrical outage kind of situation that caused it, I still would have to pay $1,000 before they would start to cover anything. So we're kind of doing this without any kind of assistance. Again, it was just the edges, so luckily we were able to move things into the 10 by 10 section of the basement for the big furniture to kind of let things dry out. My one son was able to, wasn't going to be going with us to St. Louis because he had to work to pay for college. So he was staying home, and so his job was to rotate fans for the week that we were gone. And so things have stayed fairly well ventilated, thankfully. It was a lot, and it's almost a month from that date now, but it was just a lot to do all at once, and um, not the best time of the month, if you catch my drift, for myself, and it was a particular interesting month for that in the first place. So we got past that. Again, still in rearrange mode because I was gone for a week, a little over a week. The fun thing is that my convention for down in St. Louis was the same time as the local yarn store Shop Hop for the St. Louis area. You cannot believe how thrilled I was when I found this out, because I had put into a search just to find out what store was kind of around the area that we were going to be in, so that I could kind of go around and go to a store, maybe see if they had a sit and stitch night, and go and participate in another community's sit and stitch night. That was the intent. And then when I went to the website, I found out that it was the Shop Hop. So plans changed, and we ended up really, we left a day earlier than I was originally anticipating on leaving, because I didn't really need to be at the convention until Friday, and we left Wednesday, but we left after lunch on Wednesday. Some of that was a pushback because of the flooding issue, but we had originally planned to stay at another hotel because our hotel block didn't start till Thursday, but I had enough points to redeem for a free hotel night in a nearby area. So we actually went across the river into Illinois and stayed. Now I can't remember which town it was. Oh, guys, it's been a month. We stayed at a Hilton property over in a nearby area, and that was lovely. That was a great experience, especially since it was a nice large room with the bathroom in the middle, with a little seating area on one side of the bathroom, and then a 2-queen bedroom on the other side of the bathroom with your little kitchenette-ish. I don't remember. I think it just had a fridge, your Keurig, and a sink. Maybe a microwave. I forget exactly. I mean, we were there for one night. I wasn't like we were going to really utilize that. But that way, everybody got a place to sleep for one night. It was really great. And then, because our stay in St. Louis, the particular hotel the convention had only had like room for 4 individuals. And I have a family of 5, and I'm not paying for a 5th person. I wasn't going to get a second room for just one person. So Zane was lovely, and he decided he would sleep on the chair. The plan was to make Leo do that, because he's small and tiny, or possibly get a pool raft that he could sleep on, because again, he's small and tiny, fits that. My husband has some aversion to that whole system. I don't know what it is. I'm like, it's really easy. It's not uncomfortable. I've done it before when I was older than they are. And it's just really simple to get everybody into one room, especially because I don't want to leave all 3 of my kids in a separate room from me and my husband. That just kind of weirds me out in a hotel situation, even if it's connecting rooms. Because there's still that ability to shut the door to the other room and lock people out of where they need to be. Of course, you can fix that by just giving me more space. But anyways, side tangents. We decided we would go and do, I can't remember all the locations. So I know I haven't posted the stash haul for you yet. But there were 6 stores. There was one in particular I would probably never visit again. I didn't find the shop owner particularly friendly. And the shop was very claustrophobic. And, you know, I like small, compact spaces. There was a lot of stuff, I would say, for the space that it was in. But again, not as friendly of a shop owner. So, and that was in a downtown area, so bad parking situations, no bathroom situations. I mean, it just was not my pick of locations. And yeah, so that, I would say 1 out of the 6 was a real dud. Another one, we didn't really find anything we were looking for. The shop was fine. The staff was fine. It was our first stop, so they were really friendly, and we got one of their goodie bags for, I'm not sure if all shops for your first stop gave you the goodie bag, or if it was because we were one of the first so many people, because it started on Thursday, and we started there on Thursday. But I did get one thing that I won't be able to show you because I gave it to one of the kids, and that was one of those color wheels that we gave to Sam, my little artist, because we thought it would help him with his artsy journey. So we got that. He has that, but I think I have everything else. And I think the other thing I got there was this pair of stitch markers. Then, okay, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was my favorite shop. It was definitely the one I was anticipating to like the least. And according to my purchases, it was the one I liked the most. There's one, it was the bead place, shop, stop. I don't remember. Bead something. So I'm thinking this is a bead store with a little corner with yarn. And it's going to be, it was like the entire back of the store was yarn. And oh my gosh, guys, they had yarn, or they had fiber, spinning fiber that hasn't been dyed in 5 or 6 years. I kind of bought all they had. Okay, I did leave one color because I don't really need brown fiber. It was a beautiful brown, but that's not a color I need. I can make brown. Brown's not a hard thing to come by, so that we left there. But otherwise, I think it was 5 braids of Yarn Geek fibers. Like, she was one of my first original dyer friends. I guess maybe not friend, but you know, she was like, when I went to my first event, I immediately clicked with her. She had great colors, great things. She had a Corriedale sock base that is still my favorite, like, sock base. And she quit dyeing around COVID time because she had an elderly family member that was living with her, which, you know, absolutely understand, have to do what's right for your family. But I was very sad because when I first came across her, I only crocheted. And I didn't spin. I didn't knit. I didn't have a need for all of this fantastic fibers that she did. So I kind of missed out on a few things. And I kept getting teased. Well, he didn't know he was teasing me. But Steve from Leading Men kind of teased on one of his podcasts about spinning with one of her fibers and just gloating over how great the fibers are and they're so great and all this stuff. And I'm like, I never got to get any of that because she stopped dyeing when I started spinning. So I am ecstatic, absolutely thrilled that I got to get that fiber. Definitely my most expensive expenditure while we were there, but totally worth it for me because I was in heaven. I was just like, you guys just totally made my day. Like, we were looking for other things, just kind of trying. If you spent $20, you got a button for free. I mean, it was a $2 button, so it was like, you know, I don't really have to get these, but I wanted to spend the $20 just to support the shops. So I was looking for something like that, and my husband was just kind of teasing me. And then I was like, wait, what did you just say? Like, you know, he's like, oh, fiber, you don't need any of this Yarn Geek. And he's just teasing me. And I'm like, no, seriously. And it was so funny because the person working was even like, oh, well, we might even still have some of her yarn. So she took us. She's like, well, if we do, it's over in this section. We didn't find any of the actual yarn. But I was just so thrilled to have that fiber, and because I've never seen it in a yarn store before. Well, they had her yarn in the store in Newton that closed down a couple of years ago because the landlord kicked them out. That was the place that I've gotten the bulk of the yarn that I have had, but I don't think they had her fiber, or maybe we never saw it. So I missed out there. But that's the only thing. I've never seen the fiber before in store. I probably saw it in person and I didn't spin, so it didn't register. But now I'm a spinner, so so thrilled, and I am totally going off on a tangent, which is probably not interesting to most of you. I did do Tour de Fleece for the first 10, 11 days. I should have done Tour de Femme. I didn't know that was a thing until the end of Tour de Fleece. Or Tour de France. Because that was only a 9-day span, but that was a time when I was doing all this cleanup for the flooding. So, I did do the first days. I tried to log it, and then all this stuff happened, and I don't even know. Well, and there was sock week in the middle of that, and I'm like, well, I can't spin and do sock week and this, and so much in July. I was just overdone, and I couldn't breathe, and so there's just too much going on. But we got through all of it. I got some spinning done, and I'll share that with you in a moment. Okay, guys, sorry. I got interrupted with people coming up the stairs. So, back to July. I did spinning. I don't know if you're ever going to see that, but I did work on spinning. I finished spinning one thing, now I'm plying it. I started working on another thing that one of my children wants to steal from me, and I told him he can't have it because it's very beautiful. It's one of my Bombshell. I love Bombshell dye works fibers. I would probably say they're very comparable, I think, to the Yarn Geek fibers. And this is Yarn Geek fibers, not to be confused with the what's her channel? Ginger's channel. That's in Kansas. This was in Burlington, Iowa. Yarn Geek Fibers. Anyways. So there was that. I did do my sock week sock. I got done. I did not win anything, but I did get that submitted. Then there was flooding. Then I was out at St. Louis, a couple other shops, and the cherry on top was I was reading the Leading Men newsletter at the beginning of July, I think it was, for the new color, and I saw there said something about Seven Sisters yarn pop-up or trunk show, and I just went, oh, that's in St. Louis, because that's on my list of things for the shop hop, and they were doing the trunk show during the shop hop, so I got to go see my Steve and Andy during the shop hop, and get a couple more of their yarns, and also get my last stamp on my passport and send that off. I had other events going on with the convention and things, so I didn't get to do a lot of other things, but I thoroughly enjoyed my fiber journey while in St. Louis, just to come home in time for, we had a weekend where we did some things with my family, because it was the middle child's 16th birthday, so we had that activity that weekend after we came back, plus starting to put things together, starting to put furniture back where it goes. It's a process, guys, and I had 1 week home, and then I was off to New York. Plus, that weekend, before I went to New York, was the Mid-Iowa Shop Hop. So, again, luckily, only 3 stores. Sadly, it's only 3 stores. We're down even more and more each time they do it, it seems. But we went to Jan's. We started off at Yarn Junction on the Thursday. Then we went up to, I don't even remember what the shop's called. The one in Ames, that's on downtown. And we did a birthday dinner, or birthday pizza dinner lunch with in-laws for the middle child while we were up in Ames. Then we went over to Jan's. So I got those 3 trips and some fabulous fiber tools, things. I replaced the bag that I lost because I really liked the bag that I lost on the jet plane. So I replaced it with one at the Ames shop because they have, I guess they're twice your cheap bags. I didn't realize that when I had it originally, because that would have been a lot easier to know that I could replace it. But they had that, the size I wanted in there because I saw one of those bags while we were in St. Louis, but they were the larger size, and I almost got that because it was the actual print that I lost on the plane. This one's not quite the right print, but it is a darker background. You'll see it here in my next projects. Actually, you might have seen it in the last video I did. But yeah, so I got that stuff. And then it was our trip to New York for the Wine and Fan Fest, and also taking my husband for his first trip to New York. He's never been to New York. We've only flown through there when we went to Spain, so that's like his whole experience with New York was, we think it was the JFK airport, because we can't remember anything, guys. Life has been lifing. So that's his only experience with New York up till this last week. So that's a whole another drama story that we're going to save for later with Broadway, because I can't get into that right now because I'll probably cry. But I did knitting there. I did get to go to Nitty City. That was a very nice shop. It was kind of crowded for my liking. Not hard to get around, just very, it was good because there was a lot of people in there. So, but I didn't get, I don't want to say service like I expect, but it felt very less personal. And even though they were lovely, I just didn't get that warm, cozy feeling that I get at, like, when I go to Jan's. And I'm there for an hour longer than I'm supposed to be, because Jan won't let me leave, because she just has to tell me every story. Which is why we saved her for last, because we knew it would take us too long to get out of there. But I had a lot of those feels like back when I had the shop in Winterset and those other things. There's just some of those shops that I feel much more connected to. Ninja City, lovely. I still got some things to show you. Just not my favorite shop of all time, but still absolutely lovely shop stop. I'd still recommend you go there and visit. But yeah, so that catches us up to while I was in New York. Okay. The day of FanFest. So right after, well, maybe an hour after I recorded that video that I gave you guys while knitting from our room in Chelsea. That afternoon, well, it wasn't even afternoon yet. It was like 11:30 Eastern. I got the call that I have a guide dog match, which I know I told you guys on Sunday for my Fun Day Sunday post, but that means there's a lot of things that are kind of up in the air at the moment, and I'm not sure exactly what we're doing, what's happening, but I still need to get you your content, because I still want to keep my ambassadorships up, because I need the funds from the ambassadorships to give you more content moving forward. So we're going to see how we can kind of push a lot of content in the next 30-ish, that's not even 30 days, guys, because I got called with 31 days notice, plus I had to fly home, plus I have to get it air. I mean, we're already on, what is it, the 17th, and I leave probably the 11th, because I'm going early so that I can go visit the family of my friend who passed away, because they really, really want me to come and have that moment there, and they offered to take me to guide dog class. So I'm trying to arrange that, trying not to give myself a lot of time there, because I'm more ready leaving hubby, my husband, at home for 20 days with the children, with back to school. It's not that it's ever a good time, but it's also not ideal, but it's better for the other things that I have planned. Like, I learned after I got the information for the guide dog school stuff that they don't want you traveling away from home within the first month, really, of getting your guide dog. And originally, I thought I'd probably have my best chance for maybe the October class or the December class. And I really don't want to leave husband alone during December. October is my birthday month, so I kind of didn't want to be away from home, but I kind of liked the idea of maybe being on campus for my birthday, because I was like, oh, that would be kind of fun too, because I'm never anywhere for my birthday. Like, that's that's not a time. I had a swim meet, I think, that I had my birthday during. Like, there's just not a lot of things that happen that time of year that I'm involved with. So I never get to celebrate my birthday with fun activities. So like, that'd be kind of cool. But no, I got called for September class, which is actually Guide Dog Awareness Month. So it's kind of a fun time to be in my first class. But there's a lot to do between now and September, the second week of September, which is technically like the third week because Labor Day is so late this year. But it's the second Monday is when I start class. Well, I think technically I start Sunday. There's just so much. But yeah, I didn't know that they wanted you to be home for a month after. So that will leave me. I'll be home for a month. I'll have about 6 weeks home, and then I'll have the AFCPE conference. And for those that don't know, I am an accredited financial counselor, which means that I can really help you with your basic personal finance if you need investing, other than the basics of what investing is and kind of how to find more information out. I can help you with some basics. Not really going to help you with more than the basics there. Because you would really want a CFP for that level, but getting out of debt, information about credit scores, credit cards, those kinds of things, really getting into the point system, which so for about, not quite the last 20 years, because I kind of got out of it a few years ago, but about 20 years ago, I started the Dave Ramsey system. And so now getting into the point system is really kind of interesting, because those kind of are polar opposites of each other. So that's been entertaining. But all that to say, I have that conference in November, about the third week of November. So that's only 2 days that I'll actually be away. But I will hopefully have my new guide and able to actually attend a conference with my guide and put them to work. So we'll see how all this comes out and how I'm able to juggle all this, because it's just been one thing after another for the entire year, and it looks like it's not gonna stop. So yeah, we're gonna try get all of your fiber stuff in so I can get all those prompts out, so I can get the funds, so that I can continue to do all this stuff for you. Plus, the day after I found out about my guide dog thing, so about 24, a little more than 30 hours later, found out that my little sister is expecting, and this will be her first. And so that's a whole other thing that I need to be saving up for, because I need to make all the things. Of course, I won't know anything about that for a couple months yet, but yeah, life is just 20 different directions, plus all the volunteer work stuff. Plus, they really want me to get my butt in gear about job stuff now that I'm officially accredited and passed the surgery and passed. Oh my gosh, guys. I don't know. I'm half tempted to go, well, I know I got the AFC. They didn't pay for it, so it's not like I'm wasting their money, because I still need my Mantis, which is the only thing they've actually really paid for. To sit there and change my plan to being more of the influencer kind of yarn world, but I'm not like a big enough channel to feel like I could ever make it super profitable. But technically, I am making it profitable because I have 3 ambassadorships that are worth, it's store credit, but it's still $100 a month. Is $300 a month. That's just yarn stuff. And there's other things that I could do on top of that. And, we are at 340 subscribers. I think they said once you get to 500, you can start memberships. So, I don't know, guys. There's just so many directions being pulled in so many ways. I would love to do financial counseling. The problem is, as I'm sure you're very well aware, the people who need the financial counseling the most are the people that can't afford to pay you. I had a job that kind of fixed that part, where they paid me so that I could work with people and get paid by them. but they had their own issues, and so I really hope they don't fold, but they're less than 5 years in, and that, well, no, they're, technically they're right around the 5-year mark, and a lot of companies fail within 5 years, and they might be one of those. I don't want it to be, but that's the direction they're headed. It's not a very healthy company at the moment, and that's where I'm going to leave that, because I don't want to get into the drama of that of last year. But it's really hard when you're already got a disability on top of trying to navigate the gig market is really difficult, and that's the direction I keep getting pushed into, because I do not want to work full time. I do know that part. I don't mind doing gig stuff. I don't mind doing some things, but there's definitely limitations to what I can do to my level of how well I want to do things. Anyways, I'm rambling, and this is way longer than I said it was going to be. So anyways, this is your monthly Monday update on what's going on in the crazy world of Mo. And I do invite you, if you are in the blind community, do check out ACB Crafters. It is a great resource. Just ACB community calls in general. That is where you will find where I do most of my work. It's not paid, but it is a weekly call on a book in personal finance, which is my Turning Pages program. That is the one thing I do at least most weeks, except for recently. And I'm having a lot of fun with that. But I also have a lot of fun with the fiber things. And I think I like the fiber stuff. I would love to mix the two together. I haven't really found the way to connect them yet. So if you have a way, I would love. I did write a blog post that really connected it well. It was really funny, with all the yarnisms into the financial speech. But I can't do that every day. And it was assisted a lot with AI just to get the puns. I mean, it was still a lot of my writing. But yeah, that's what's going on in my world, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for subscribing. I know probably a lot of you quit listening already, but I do really appreciate those, even if it is the people that my children. I love Leo and Zane. But I feel like so many of my subscribers are either their friends or the secondary accounts that they have, that they just keep subscribing, because as you know, if you've listened to some of my stuff, you'll hear one of them coming in and always saying like and subscribe to Unseen Strands, and then the other one's always telling me, you have enough stuff for your fiber friends, you need to quit fiber friends. Oh my gosh, guys, they are hilarious. But I think it's so great, because the one wanted to be a YouTuber, and so he's kind of seeing mom being a YouTuber in front of him, and so it's fun. It's different. I can't see it being a career, especially with my editing capabilities at the moment. But we're having fun with it, so we'll see where it goes. Anyways, guys, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Do hype us. I mean, I don't know how much YouTube will like a hype on a audio formatted podcast, but I do appreciate it if you don't mind. And let's get to 500 before the end of the year. Maybe I can figure out those membership things, figure out if my counselor will let me change my goal to something more fiber artsy. Because it's a changing world, right, guys? Anyways, thank you all for being here, and we will talk to you later, guys.